Alright, what's up everyone? So I got a different type of video for you all today. This video is about the most important tips that I could find for looping in Dead by Daylight. I genuinely didn't think I would ever make a video like this because I'm not good at teaching people how to do things, but I'm gonna try my best. Now keep in mind before you watch this video that if this video gets to 50 likes, then I will make another video on how to loop every killer in DBD. And that includes how to outplay their power /M2, and it will be another in-depth tutorial. But there's not really too much to say about this video, and I don't want this to be a long intro, so let's go ahead and get into the first looping tip. Okay, so camera movement. It is probably the most important tip and it is really easy to learn. Camera movement is pretty much where you use your mouse or droid stick to look around in the game. It is important to not just be aware of your surroundings, but to also know where the killer is whenever you possibly can and avoid giving them a hit or a down. A good example of camera movement is looking behind you when you're being chased by the killer. Some killers you have to look behind you to look at them more than other killers, such as Huntress, Deathslinger, Pyramid Head, and Trickster. Really, any killer with an M2 power that can hit you from far away is a killer that you should be looking behind you more at than looking behind you at a M1 killer like Trapper or Legion. But regardless of the killer, yes, even Legion, you should be looking behind you a lot of the time to always try to find out the next play that they're gonna make. I'm not sure why I hear a lot of people say this, but a lot of survivors on controllers say, "Oh, I'm on controller, I can't look behind me as fast as keyboard and mouse players do." And all I can really say to that is turn your sensitivity up, because I see survivors all the time on controller looking in front and behind them as fast as me. Okay, now hugging loops. This not only applies to loops, but to other structures on the map. What hugging a loop or a structure means is that you press your character's body as much as you can up against whatever you're looping around. And the point of this is to get as much distance from you and the killer as possible. This right here is a perfect example of how you should be looping a tile like this. My camera is turned to the right, so I'm looking at the killer and not in front of me. That way I can hold W and D and still walk forward, but looking to my left. And doing so will make me hug the loop. And I also have my camera angle pointed down so I can see where the killer is. That way I can see if he's gonna double back on the loop or continue chasing me this way. So stay as close to the loop with your body as you possibly can. But don't push your character's body too much against the loop, or you will get stuck on something either poking out from the loop or something on the ground that you can't see. But the number one thing that you do not want to do is stray away from the loop, even a little bit. If you do start straying away from the loop or just not hugging it correctly, then the killer will probably notice that you're not hugging the loop and will take advantage of that, and they will gain distance on you, resulting in a hit or a down. Looping and greeting pallets. Okay, now pallets are a really useful and powerful tool for survivors, but that's only if you know how to use them correctly. Because if you do not know how to use pallets correctly, then they become very weak tools. Okay, so the first tip I have for pallets is know when and when not to drop them. At the beginning of the match, when the killer is on me, I will not drop the first pallet I get to. I will run through it and see if they respect it or if they do not respect it. If they run right through the pallet and you get hit, that's okay. Just keep in mind for the rest of the match that they do not respect pallets, and vice versa for if they do respect it. Just keep it in mind. Another thing for pallets is that sometimes it's just better to take the hit. For example, if you are running towards a pallet injured or uninjured and you are not sure that you're going to make the pallet safely before the killer hits or downs you, do not throw that pallet, because if you do throw it and you get hit or down through it, then you just wasted a pallet. So if you're not sure that you're gonna make it, then do not drop it, especially if one of your teammates is around, because if you go down on the pallet, then one of your teammates can get the pallet save, which is where the killer picks you up underneath of a pallet and then your teammate throws the pallet down on the killer and then it makes the killer drop you. If you are looping a tile or a loop with a pallet and you mess up your movement and the killer gains distance on you, next thing you know is that they are going to get a hit or a down on you because you can't make the pallet. What you can do is run towards the pallet acting like you're going to go for it and then run past it last second, avoiding the hit. But this will only work if you're looping the tile coming around from the left or the right and the killer is following behind you, not if you're running straight at the pallet. It won't work. Okay, so when you are looping or using a tall structure that you cannot see the killer over, check spots is what you use to see where the killer is or what they are doing. A good example of check spots is the boarded up windows at Killer Shack. Yes, they are boarded up, but you can still see through them. Use them to your advantage to see where the killer is going. That's also not the only check spots in the game. I'll throw up some of the best check spots on AutoHaven, and the places that I highlighted in purple are where you can see the killer from your point of view. This is all I really got for this segment, check spots. It's pretty simple in my opinion. Okay, so connecting loops is really important because the more that you change loops is the more that you have to work with. Now, how I change from loops right here is I change from the loop on the right to the loop on the left. The loop on the right is a pallet with 2 tiles, which is a really strong loop, but I do decide to switch to the TNLs, which is the 2 windows that you see highlighted right there. But you might be asking yourself, why would I leave a pallet for some windows? And the reason why is because I was not injured, and also in the right case scenario, windows can sometimes be stronger than pallets, and especially if you know how to play windows the right way. But if I were to get injured messing around with the TNLs, you would see me run back to the pallet because it is safer than a window. Anyways, this is the end of the video. I know this was not a very long tutorial, and that's because this was not an in-depth tutorial, which if it was an in-depth tutorial, I would be talking about everything possible about looping. So if you do want to see a video about me talking literally about anything and everything that you can possibly talk about on looping, then please just leave a like and leave a comment. Or who knows, maybe you don't want to see a tutorial on looping. I just need to know. Me personally, I will not be making another one of these looping tutorials unless if I get some feedback from you guys saying that you want another one. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. If I don't get any feedback saying that you guys want another tutorial, then I'm not gonna make another one. This tutorial alone took me a few days to make just because I'm not experienced in this kind of video creation. But anyways, that's it. I hope I helped at least a few of you, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.